Hard truth you need to know before becoming successful. Part 2. 1. Earning money is moral. For better or worse, humans are holistic. Even the human body does best when its spiritual and physical sides are synchronized. People's bodies perform best when their brains are on board with the program. Helping your mind to believe what you do is good, noble, and worthwhile in itself helps to fuel your energies and propel your efforts. Rabbi Daniel Lapin. I know so many people who genuinely believe making money is immoral, and that people with money are evil. They believe those who seek profits force those weaker than them to buy their products. Money is not evil but neutral. It is a symbol of perceived value. If I'm selling a pair of shoes for $20 and someone decides to buy them, they perceive the shoes to be worth more than the $20 or they wouldn't buy them. I'm not forcing them to buy my shoes. It's their choice. Thus, value exchange is win-win and based purely on perception. Value is subjective. If you offered that same person $20 for the shoes they just bought, they probably wouldn't sell them. They see them as worth more than $20. But what if you offered $30? They still might not sell them. There is no correct price for goods and services. The correct price is the perceived worth from the customer. If the price is too high, the customer won't exchange their money for it. We are extremely lucky to live in a society with a system of money. It allows us to borrow, lend, and leverage. Our ability to scale our work would be enormously limited in a bartering and trading system. 2. Almost everything in life is a distraction. You cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. Greg McKeown. Almost everything is a distraction from what really matters. You really can't put a price tag on certain things. They are beyond a particular value to you. You'd give up everything, even your life, for those things. Your relationships and personal values don't have a price tag, and you should never exchange something priceless for a price. Keeping things in proper perspective allows you to remove everything non-essential from your life. It allows you to live simply and laser-focused and to avoid dead-end roads leading nowhere. Earning money is a completely moral pursuit when it is done with honesty and integrity. In fact, if you don't feel moral about the work you're doing, you should probably change your job. When you believe in the value you provide so much that you are doing people a disservice by not offering them your services, you're on track to creating colossal value. Our work should be a reflection of us. It's always their choice whether they perceive the value in what we're offering or not. 3. Focus is today's IQ. We live in the most distracted era of human history. The internet is a double-edged sword. Like money, the internet is neutral, and it can be used for good or bad based on who uses it. Sadly, most of us are simply not responsible enough for the internet. We waste hours every day staring idly at a screen. Millennials are particularly prone to distractions on the internet, but nowadays, everyone is susceptible. Our attention spans have shrunk to almost nothing. Our willpower has atrophied. We've developed some really bad habits that often require extreme interventions to reverse. There is a growing body of scientific evidence suggesting the internet, with its constant distractions and interruptions, is turning us into scattered and superficial thinkers. One of the biggest challenges to constant distraction is that it leads to shallow rather than deep thinking, and shallow thinking leads to shallow living. The Roman philosopher Seneca may have put it best 2,000 years ago, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. In his book, Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World, Cal Newport differentiates deep work from shallow work. Deep work is using your skills to create something of value. It takes thought, energy, time, and concentration. Shallow work is all the little administrative and logistical stuff, email, meetings, calls, expense reports, etc. Most people aren't moving toward their goals because they prioritize shallow work. The ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare at exactly the same time it is becoming increasingly valuable in our economy. As a consequence, the few who cultivate this skill and then make it the core of their working life will thrive. Cal Newport. 4. If your goals are logical, don't expect luck. You need to aim beyond what you are capable of. You need to develop a complete disregard for where your abilities end. If you think you're unable to work for the best company in its sphere, make that your aim. If you think you're unable to be on the cover of Time magazine, make it your business to be there. Make your vision of where you want to be a reality. Nothing is impossible. Paul Arden. Most people's goals are completely logical. They don't require much imagination. They certainly don't require faith, luck, magic, or miracles. Personally, I believe it's sad how skeptical and secular many people are becoming. I find great pleasure in having faith in the spiritual. It provides context for life and meaning for personal growth. Having faith allows me to pursue that which others would call absurd, like walking on water and transcending death. Truly, with God all things are possible. There is absolutely nothing to fear. 5. Don't seek praise, seek criticism. As a culture, we've become so fragile that we must combine honest feedback with 20 compliments. And when we get feedback, we do our best to disprove it. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information that confirms our own beliefs while giving excessively less consideration to alternative possibilities. It's easy to get praise when you ask family and friends who will tell you exactly what you want to hear. Instead of seeking praise, your work will improve if you seek criticism. How could this be better? You will know your work has merit when someone cares enough to give an unsolicited critique. If something is noteworthy, there will be haters. As Robin Sharma, author of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, has said, haters confirm greatness. When you really start showing up, the haters will be intimidated by you. Rather than being a reflection of what they could do, you become a reflection of what they are not doing. 6. The world gives to the givers and takes from the takers. From a scarcity perspective, helping other people hurts you because you no longer have the advantage. This perspective sees the world as a giant pie. Every piece of the pie you have is pie I don't have. So in order for you to win, I must lose. From an abundance perspective, there is not only one pie, but an infinite number of pies. If you want more, you make more. Thus, helping others actually helps you because it makes the system as a whole better. It also builds relationships and trust and confidence. I have a friend, Nate, who is doing some really innovative stuff at the real estate investment company he works for. He's using strategies that no one else is using, and he's killing it. He told me he considered keeping his strategies a secret, because if other people knew about them, they'd use them and that'd mean fewer leads for him. But then he did the opposite. He told everyone in his company about what he was doing. He has even been giving tons of his leads away. This has never been seen before in his company. But Nate knows that once this strategy no longer works, he can come up with another one. And that's what leadership and innovation are all about. And people have come to trust him. Actually, they've come to rely on him for developing the best strategies. Nate makes pies for himself and several other people. And yes, he is also the top selling and highest earning in his company. It's because he gives the most and doesn't hoard his ideas, resources, or information. 7. Create something you wish already existed. Many entrepreneurs design products to scratch their own itch. Actually, that's how loads of problems are solved. You experience difficulty and create a solution. Musicians and artists approach their work the same way. They create music they'd want to listen to, draw painting they'd want to see, and write books they wish were written. That's how I personally approach my work. I write articles I myself would want to read. Your work should first and foremost resonate with yourself. If you don't enjoy the product of your work, how can you expect other people to? 8. Don't look for the next opportunity. The perfect client, perfect opportunity, and perfect circumstances will almost never happen. Instead of wishing things were different, why not cultivate what's right in front of you? Rather than waiting for the next opportunity, the one in your hands is the opportunity. Said another way, the grass is greener where you water it. I see so many people leave marriages because they believe better relationships are out there. In most cases, these people start new relationships and end them the same way the previous relationship ended. The problem isn't your circumstances. The problem is you. You don't find your soulmate. You create your soulmate through hard work. As Jim Rohn said, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. 9. Don't wait to start. If you don't purposefully carve time out every day to progress and improve, without question, your time will get lost in the vacuum of our increasingly crowded lives. Before you know it, you'll be old and withered, wondering where all that time went. As Meredith Wilson has said, you pile up enough tomorrows, and you'll find you are left with nothing but a lot of empty yesterdays. I waited a few years too long to actively start writing. I was waiting for the right moment when I'd have enough time, money, and whatever else I thought I needed. I was waiting until I was somehow qualified or had permission to do what I wanted to do. But you are never pre-qualified. There is no degree for live your dreams. You qualify yourself by showing up and working. You get permission by deciding. Life is short. Don't wait for tomorrow for something you could do today. Your future self will either thank you or shamefully defend you. 10. If you can't solve a problem, it's because you're playing by the rules. There is nothing that is a more certain sign of insanity than to do the same thing over and over and expect the results to be different. Albert Einstein. Convention is where we're at. Breaking convention is how we'll evolve, which requires a gargantuan quantity of failure. If you don't have the grit to fail 10,000 times, you'll never invent your light bulb. As Seth Godin has said, if I fail more than you do, I win. Failure is something to be prized and praised. Failure is feedback. Failure is moving forward. It's conscious and exerted effort towards something you've never done before. It's incredible. The person who doesn't make mistakes is unlikely to make anything. Paul Arden.